Hi, I'm Rhett LeCompte with Stellar Media, and I'm here with Lafourche Parish President candidate Luci Sposito. And did I mess that up too bad?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not
It's
too bad.
Sposito.
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 Yes.
Okay, all right. There's a little different accents that go on, and on
Right.
different,
Right.
depending on where you're from.
I have more problems with my name than almost anything else.
Well, explain your name. Where are you from? Are you from this area?
That's my husband's name.
Okay.
And it is a local name. He's from Thibodeau. So,
Oh, okay.
Obviously, it's Italian, and I thought my name might have been better, my maiden name, which it would not have been better. It's Lavoy.
Lavoy?
Yeah,
That's a new one.
L-O-V-O-I.
That's a new one.
Yes, it would not be at all better. So.
And that's Italian too?
Right. My family's originally from New Orleans, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't have helped me.
I got you. So you were from New Orleans and moved here?
Yes, in around 1981, when I was 15 years old, I moved to Raceland.
Okay.
And have been here ever since.
So up the bay girl moving down the bay, right?
Well, yeah,
A
something
Louisiana
like that.
girl, something like that. Huh? Okay, I got you. So tell us where you graduated from, your degrees, a little background on your education and stuff.
Right. So as I said, I moved down to the area. Made it to quite a few schools over the years. My parents divorced when I was very young, so we tried to count one time. I think I've been to 11 schools in 12 years. So keep in mind, I was in Raceland from 9th grade through, and I graduated at Central Lafourche High School. So my siblings and I kind of bounced around a good bit. So Central Lafourche was where I finished up in 1984.
Okay, and then off to college after that, or straight to work?
No, college wasn't an option for me.
Okay.
I couldn't afford to go to college. I didn't have anyone supporting me. So at about 16, I started work at Rouse's, and took, I guess, about 22, 23, I was the first woman supervisor for Rouse's.
Oh, wow.
So I had gotten promoted at Rouse's, and I ended up being there for 12 years.
Oh, okay.
Before I ended up leaving.
A grocer, cashier, or stock?
I started as a cashier, and then I ended up being a supervisor for Rouse's.
Okay.
So the first woman supervisor, going to all the stores and
making sure everything was good in the district.
and bakery, deli, and catering.
Okay.
That was my
right.
area.
When now I know that you eventually went to Nicholls State and earned a bachelor's degree and a MBA.
Right.
Can you tell us, did you leave Rouse's to do that, or did you work kind of at the same time?
Right. So when I left Rouse's in 1993, I left because my oldest son was born, and he with Down syndrome, and some significant health problems. Okay. So my husband and I talked about it and figured my traveling from store to store, working a lot of hours, probably wasn't the greatest thing for him. So I resigned my position with Rouse's. And keep in mind, too, here I have it's 26 years ago, my son's born with a disability, and the Americans with Disabilities Act had just passed. And the world was quite different for people with disabilities 26 years ago, and they were discriminated against greatly. So I went right away to learning the ADA and advocating for him and others like him. So at that time, I left Rouse's, and that became my world for a while.
Okay. So did you go? So you went to school right after that, or stayed with him, or?
Well, so he was 6 months old in he was born in 93. So in 94, the spring of 94, I took my very first class at Nicholls. It was an English night class. And 14 short years later, I graduated with my bachelor's.
14 short years.
Yeah, 14 short years.
Yeah, well, I graduated from Nicholls in 2000, and I went for 5 years. I thought that was long. So.
Oh, yeah. I did meet someone that has me beat, and it took them 2 years longer. But
I got you.
So when you're a mother of a child with a disability,
right.
I had another child also, and I started my own business in marketing and public relations, and then life is happening.
Yeah.
So I didn't always go full time. I had to withdraw sometimes when my child was sick, and so yeah, 14 years. And I ended up having a lot more classes than what I needed because Nicholls is right there. So I took classes that I needed to help me with my business, and I ended up graduating with a lot more classes than what I needed, but I finally did.
Useful.
Finally. Oh, yeah.
Useful classes, yeah.
Right.
So 14 years later, after you received your degree, I'm assuming the 14 years later was the MBA, or you went back after that?
No, and I went back for the MBA,
Okay.
and I got my MBA in 2012. So
Okay.
if we do the time frame, I was 42 when I received my bachelor's,
Okay.
and 46 when I received my MBA.
I got you.
So moral of the story, it's never too late.
Yeah, no, it is never too late to get, a higher education. Now, once you got your education, went out, you had an established business. What were you doing at that time when you were going
Right,
through
I was
college?
doing marketing and public relations, and that was the easiest way for me to contribute to my family, as well as, take care of my son the way I needed to, and work with advocating for the disabled and as well. So I later ended up going work for the city of Thibodeau.
Okay. And with all the struggles that you had with, going through school, providing with a special needs child and everything, at any point did you ever want to give up in the 14 years?
No. I mean, granted, it was a struggle, and as I said, my earlier childhood was a struggle, and my siblings and I sort of endured things that I'll never put on my push cards, obviously, and so struggle of going to school I was living my dream. I had always wanted to go to school, had almost thought, it wasn't possible anymore. So no, never quitting. Quitting wasn't an option.
Which is a good quality that you need in a candidate for parish president,
Yeah.
especially in the FOOSH.
It's a good quality in life, period.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Now, I guess you can't accomplish all these things without the major support of your spouse. Can you tell me about your husband a little bit?
Yeah, so Paul is, oh my gosh, I'm lucky to have that one. He's a great dad, supports me with everything, never thinks I can't do anything. He's always there cheering me on, so he's been a big help. And right after I left Rouse's, he went and worked on the West Bank. So, at that time, he needed to make more money, so he went and worked on the West Bank, has been there ever since now, 26 years. 26 years of that drive.
Every time I hear stories like this, it goes back to the altar, for better, for worse, for rich or for poor. You got to do whatever you got to do,
Yeah.
And that's what makes a good spouse. So
Yeah.
when they can do that. So it's been a long drive. It's been, you're ready to take that next step in your life in becoming the new parish president. I was looking at your website and looking at a lot of the qualifications you have. You have a very impressive resume. Before we get into, how you're going to make Lafourche Parish better for the citizens of Thibodeau and Lafourche, can you talk about your most important achievement, and that's your children? I know we like to brag on our children. Can you speak on behalf of your children right now? Tell us a little bit about them.
Sure. I have two sons. Ty is 26, and he has Down syndrome. He goes to the center. He works at the center in Cutoff, and every day is absolutely delightful for him. Absolutely delightful. He just loves every second of every day. And Benjamin is, he'll be 22 in December, and he's an LSU student, biochem, plans to go on to pre-med. So I'm glad you gave me a chance to mention my greatest work. I don't want to take up too much time bragging about them, but
I like to brag about my kids too,
oh,
so
God,
I
yes.
understand as a parent.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that you were from Raceland, right? But you currently live in Chack Bay. Is that correct?
Bay, the Bay Area, yes.
So the center he works at is in Cutoff. How does he get back and forth there?
Well, he's been going there for about 5 years now. So, it seems like a pretty long drive for us. I think we are the first people from the north to ever do such a thing. But when he graduated high school, he stayed in high school until he was 22. We toured a lot of different places, and we went there, and he was most comfortable there. And right away, immediately, we were comfortable there. And so we drive him to Raceland every day. The bus picks him up in Raceland, and I wish the center was closer, or that I was closer to the center. But for almost 5 years, we've dropped him off and picked him up every day out there, and he loves it. So it's worth the inconvenience.
What's his title there? What does he do at the center?
He works in the vending machines.
So what do you think are the most important qualities for a parish president to have?
Honesty, integrity, and grit. Lots of grit.
Tell me why you want to put your name in the hat and, jump in this race.
Well, I didn't like the direction the parish was going in. We talked a little bit about my children just now. My son may not return home. Future generations won't come home unless we make some significant changes soon. So That's why I jumped in as an economic developer.
So your whole candidacy, your platform right now is being an economic developer. Can you elaborate on your qualifications about that?
Sure. I am a nationally certified community and economic developer, and I'm one of about only 25 certified Louisiana economic developers.
And how is that going to help Lafourche Parish when you become president?
We have all these projects that we want to complete. We have these quality of life issues that we want to deal with. But without money, nothing happens. So that's why it's important to relentlessly pursue economic development, because without it, we don't have the funds to do everything else that we need to do.
So is that kind of like the buzz around here, economic development in the area?
Right, right. So I know that's a very misunderstood discipline. I'm amazed at some of the things people think it is. So when you think of Lafourche Parish, we have been becoming too dependent on oil and gas industry. And look, I'm very happy with the oil and gas industry. I'm proud to be the only candidate supported, financially supported by the industry, and I'm endorsed by the industry, and I understand their importance here, but we have too many, they drive our economy. So we say that without really thinking of what that means, driving our economy. So if you can imagine taking entire Lafourche Parish, taking the entire Lafourche Parish and then dropping it in the bed of a Silverado 3500 dually, and say, okay, take us where you're going, and the dually just starts driving. It's a good vehicle. It's strong. It's sturdy, but when all of your economy is in that vehicle, and you know it's going to go up and down because it's a cyclical industry. Well, we deal with the cyclical industry. Then you know what you're not aware of is sometimes roadblocks are thrown up in front of it, like a moratorium or fracking, or sometimes nails are thrown out in the road in front of the vehicle, and you have threatening lawsuits. So when we're dependent on one industry, there's problems. We've existed like that too long. And so that's the result of not pursuing economic development. The state of the parish is now only dependent on what the oil and gas industry does.
So bottom line, from an economical developing standpoint, what's the bottom line? What is your goal? What do you look to do as first thing when you get into office? What's the bottom line coming from Ms. Luci?
Well, if you look at our parish right now, our needs greatly exceed our resources. And again, that's because we've never pursued economic development. But to pursue economic development means we have to increase our tax base, okay? So to increase our tax base, we have to first address our tax structure that we have. It's bloated. We're paying entirely too much taxes. And think about it, if you can go 20 miles down the road and operate a more profitable business, where are you going? If you can live 20 miles down the road and pay less property taxes, where are you going? Which then decreases the tax base further. So we have to work on our tax base right away. By increasing our tax base, we'll also get funds, state and federal funds, which I have a lot of experience securing state and federal funds, to leverage against our own taxes. But we have to increase our tax base first. And the parish president's role has so many different things. But I'm going to go on a limb and say the parish president's greatest role is our economy. And let me explain why I think that. So the parish president will have to work with CPRA, levee districts, drainage districts, coastal organizations to help us to coexist with this water that surrounds us and runs through us. But those organizations are going to do nothing to bring industry to our parish. That's on the parish president. That's the parish president's responsibility. The parish president will work with our delegation and our neighbors to secure funding to complete projects, but they're not going to do anything to grow our economy. That's the parish president's responsibility. There's no other office holders whose responsibility or who has any significant role in bringing industry or growing our economy. That's completely on the parish president.
In the political realm, you have candidates that overpromise and underdeliver. They'll get on the campaign trail and say they're going to do this, that, and the other, and when they get in office, it seems like a bunch of broken promises. How are you, when you get into office, are you going to take that bull by the horn and say, no, we're going to do it this way, and I'm going to get the funding and we're going to get these projects going? How are you going to accomplish that?
Well, first, let me just say, I think most candidates make all of these promises and say they're going to do this or that project, and they have no idea how they're even going to fund it. And so you have to think of funding, and again, funding comes through increasing your tax base and securing outside funds. You also have many candidates that will say they're going to work with this organization or work with that organization to accomplish different things, yet if you don't have experience in getting things done, then you're basically dead weight.
Now, there's one other candidate that's in this race. Can you give me your top 3 reasons why you are more qualified than the opposition?
Well, I don't ever like to do comparisons, but so I won't do that here as well. But I feel like I'm qualified for this position because I'm an economic developer, because I have many years of experience I have experience in both branches of government, executive and the legislative branch, which means I know how to stay in my lane. I have been self-employed, and I have many years of experience working in many different areas, and I believe there's just this time in my life where all of my experience and my education and the need of the parish has converged or melded to where I believe this was my time to step up and be the next parish president. I have a detailed, community-based, executable plan, and I have experience securing millions in state and federal funds, which we'll use to leverage against parish dollars, and I have experience working in DC and in Baton Rouge for local initiatives, and I'm not lazy, so that's a big help. And I'm ready to get to work.
So on your Facebook page, I saw that you got a lot of endorsements from some local big names. You got Louisiana Oil and Gas that's supporting you. You have the Lafourche Republican Party. Who else is supporting you?
Chevron supported me. Okay. It's really big when you have big industry come out and support you. I know they do some tests to see if, especially Chevron, it's pretty difficult to get their support, but to have passed the test with Chevron and get that endorsement was a big deal. They're thrilled to see an economic developer in the race. They very much want to see people pro-business and interested in lowering taxes and all those other things that come with being an economic developer. So it was a big deal for me to get those endorsements.
Yeah, Chevron.
And that support, yeah.
Chevron is really big in this area right here,
exactly.
And they want to stay put, and it's nice to get that endorsement, especially from someone that's an economic developer.
Well, and Chevron financially supported me as well as one of the other PACs, but I know, there may be other endorsements along the way, but I'm the only one that's received financial support from the oil and gas industry, so that was a big deal.
I also noticed something on your page too. It was a cool little logo using the Lafourche name, and it says "Our Lafourche." So you kind of pulled the "our" out of it. Can you explain the vision behind that?
Look, it's politics is kind of funny. I was meeting with someone who was helping me with my campaign, and he said, "Okay, so you need to think of your words, or your slogan, or your integrity, honor." All of these different things, and they just seemed so overused and ridiculous and fake. So I go to bed that night and I start praying, God, give me my words, because everything seemed silly that I was going through. So my clock is set for 3:45 every morning. I woke up at 3:30 before the clock went off, walked to my kitchen table, wrote the word Lafourche, and it was like the word "our" came out and punched me in the face. Oh, wow. So I'm thinking, oh my God, our Lafourche, that's it, because I had been talking about, the north and south and combining and working together, and it was perfect. I got more calls from that than probably anything else in this campaign, from consultants to other candidates saying, how has no one ever seen the word "our" in Lafourche? Mm-hmm. So I guess it's because you don't hear it when you say it, but I'm so excited about that. I copyrighted it.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that copyright, but I was very excited about that.
Well, I mean, some of the biggest ideas come from the simplest visions,
Yeah.
You can overpay somebody and overthink something and beat it to death, But you know, that's a great story, just waking up and seeing it pop out at you, and it's,
Yeah.
it's effective. Thanks for watching. I'm Rhett LeCompte with Stellar Media.
And I'm Luci Sposito, candidate for Lafourche Parish President, and I ask for your vote, number 99, on November 16th. Thank you.